I was online way too early. It was 2011. I was 8 years old. My favorite thing to do was to go on Movie Star Planet at my grandma's house on her computer. And I loved it. It was amazing. I loved that game. But again, I was 8 years old. So I fell for those, oh, give me your password and I'll... give me your password and I'll log in and you'll get 1,000 coins or whatever Movie Star Planet had. I don't remember. So I did that and then I lost my account, which was VIP, by the way. And my mom was like, okay, we're gonna give you VIP again, but instead of always going up to your grandma's house to do it, we're gonna give you a laptop. By the way, even though my parents offered to buy me VIP again, I never did because it's not my same account. It would never be the same. Gratefully, I didn't end up too fucked up. There was a huge chance I could have seen the worst things imaginable, but some of the stuff I found was kind of helpful. I know the rules of the internet is a silly post from that very interesting website that I never want to go on, but a lot of people don't know about it. They know one rule from it, which is a very memeable rule. I don't blame them for only knowing that one. I'm not gonna lie, I think a lot of those rules are helpful. Here are the things I find useful to this day, and I believe people should pay attention to them. Rule number 8. There are no real rules about posting. The internet is boundless. If anyone has thought of it, someone has posted about it. Specific sites censor topics and words, but if you want to find something, you'll be able to find it online. There'll always be places to see whatever you want online, put whatever you want. It is a lawless land, in a way. There are no rules about moderation. Similar to number 8, no matter what, there's going to be a place to post whatever you want, no matter what it is. Each site depends on the censorship the owner wants. There never was a concrete set of rules for things you could post online. Everyone created their own rules, and some copied others. There will always be morality mixed in with their moderation. But like humans, we all have different ways of thinking and different ways we approach problems. But again, none of these rules started as a requirement. All of your carefully picked arguments can be ignored. The internet's mostly text. Because it's worldwide, it's mostly text. No one is required to listen to you. There are always going to be people who are trying to reply to different topics and have arguments and disagreements, but sometimes it goes nowhere because, again, no one is required to listen to you. Just like in real life, quarrels happen, and just like in real life, people can just walk off. At some point, you will talk to basically a wall online. It's practically guaranteed. If they don't have the intention to listen to you, they won't. They're not required to, and I feel like a lot of people don't realize that. Number 12, anything you say can and will be used against you. In social media, especially with Twitter or X, people will dig into your past posts, whether it's from an hour ago, 2 days ago, 10 years ago. It doesn't matter. If it fits their argument, they will use it. They'll skew things and they won't look at the context. They'll just look at the words and be like, this is what you meant and this fits my argument. A lot of the internet is archived, the saying, the internet is forever. It's an idiom for a reason. People won't let you run from your past, no matter how hard you try. You won't be able to escape, and that's really annoying to me. The amount of times I see people look at something from 10, 11 years ago and be like, oh, they did this problematic stuff. Now they're stuck with that problematic thing for the rest of their life. I'm sorry. Is there no way I could have changed in the past 5 years? I've said that. Is there no way I could have possibly decided to change my ways, to evolve in thinking? Or am I just the same fucking person I was when I was 15? I'm sorry. I grew up. I'm a different person. Even if I was 30 years old, I would not be the same person I was when I was 20. If I'm 50, I'm not the same person I was when I was 30. I'm not the same person. And there's a huge possibility I changed as a person. And it really annoys me because it really feels like no one processes that. It's either you are this person that you were 10 years ago, or you're not. No, it's not even you're not. It's just, you are this person that you were 10 years ago. You can't change. You're never able to change. And like, you're not allowed to change because you said this one thing, so you are that one thing. Why even try to change, because you're always gonna forever be that? What's the point of learning and growing if you're just gonna stay the same? And it really pisses me off, if you can't tell. That pisses me off. People need to be able to grow from their mistakes. But nowadays, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. And then people get mad because, oh, you didn't learn from your mistakes. Well, it's like, you never let me learn. Because I'm always gonna be, whatever.
Editor Lex here. I would just like to say people aren't required to listen to your apology if you do make an apology. They're not required to also forgive you. No one is required to forgive you no matter what you do. It's not something that is like not necessary. It's just not guaranteed. If people don't want to forgive you, they don't have to. This is mostly explaining how no one even gives the option to listen if they want to. You don't have to listen. Like I said earlier, you don't have to listen, but also people don't even get like an option to explain themselves and to prove that they've grown. So
13. Anything you say can be turned into something else. Now, misinterpretation is common, especially online. People will not understand sometimes. It doesn't matter if it was purposeful, intentional, or they're just stupid. Maybe they're just stupid. Maybe they want to just purposely misunderstand because they want to piss you off. At the end of the day, people will be obtuse. You can't fight that. Remember the waffles tweet? It's literally that. That applies everywhere. It will follow every conversation. You will say one thing, and it's literally just the waffles tweet. People will hear what you say and create their own agenda that fits what they want. And of course, throwing in tones and sarcasm, it's never gonna help. Shout out to the people who popularized tone indicators, tone tags, /SRS. Yes. I say yes, the /SRS. Number 14, don't argue with trolls. Now, this one seems very obvious. It's at least very obvious with me. Trolls want attention, and they want reactions. That's like their whole thing. Trolls tend to use stuff that will anger the masses or anger the specific person. That's like their thing. It's never pure. They want to anger you. The current term people use is rage bait. And remember, arguing will always get you nowhere with trolls. Like, there's no reason to even say anything to them because you're just gonna be fueling them. And of course, it's always hard to know if you're actually talking to a troll or someone that is genuinely just dumb. It's a gamble, and you don't have to roll the dice or whatever. I don't know if that works as a metaphor. If you're thinking of being trolled, just leave the conversation. Just ignore, walk off, block. Who knows? Like, you don't need to stay around. Everything that can be labeled can be hated. Now, hatred. Hatred is something that has existed for like as long as humans have lived, and probably as long as the earth has been here. The biggest thing with hatred that I understand is people hate things that they don't like, they don't understand, that make no sense, that put others like outsiders, they deem as weird. They hate that. They hate that stuff. They don't want to be different. They don't want to be viewed as weird. But you know, we're humans. Someone's gonna relate to one thing about you. There's always gonna be one situation or one diagnosis or one interest that you have that someone else in the world has. Like, we're human. We're going to relate in some way. Because there's millions of us, and there's millions of situations, and there's going to be a million outcomes. And a million people are gonna relate to each other. It's just a given. Hatred will just be there for things and labels and titles. People just don't want to accept things are different. The more you hate it, the stronger it gets. Now, this is a more nuanced topic, at least for me. I believe if you genuinely hate something, you care about it. It's not in a positive way. Like, you hate it, and so when you hear about it, you like kind of lock in, you kind of listen, kind of like, what you talking about? But again, thinking about something a lot doesn't equal that you like it. A personal example is peanut butter. I despise peanut butter. I don't like I hate it. I don't like the texture. I don't like the taste. I don't like the smell. Don't come near me. I hate it. Get away. Like, I can't be in the same room as peanut butter. Like, I'm not even allergic. I just fucking despise it. If I hear someone is like craving it or wants to eat it, or they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna eat this like PB&J, like, give me a second. Every single time, my ears like hone in. They zone in onto the conversation. Like, are you gonna like come near me? Like, Like, it's in my brain. What are you gonna do with the peanut butter? Because I don't want any part of it. But since I hate it, I care when people are talking about it. I care if it's around. When I hear about peanut butter, I get reminded that it's real, and I get reminded it exists. I will get this negative feeling. It will rise when I think of it. The more I think of it, the stronger it gets. Number 20. Nothing is to be taken seriously. I've mentioned trolls, of course, but this is also, like, kind of related to how people spread misinformation. Again, this is about social media. People post, people see the post, and people keep scrolling. Like, remember when your parents were always like, hey, don't trust everything you see online. Be careful, little whippersnapper. Why was I gonna... Okay, the thing with me is I just kind of talk like in old white people sayings. Like, who the fuck says, actually, whippersnapper? Is that a white thing or a black thing? Just because someone said it doesn't mean it's true, and it doesn't mean it's like a real thing. The big Twitter account you follow is not gonna be posting factual information 24/7. Like, that's just the truth. And again, with trolling, you won't know unless you're able to fact check. You're able to be like, hey, this source doesn't lead to this. Like The Onion. Everyone knows The Onion posts bullshit. It's supposed to be like fake headlines. But a lot of people stop fact checking, and a lot of people stop making sure their sources are good. And it's upsetting. It's upsetting that people don't try anymore. It's also upsetting that I do it too. Like, I'm not immune to it. 21. Original content is only original for a few seconds before it gets old. Everything's an outline for inspiration, just like everything could be plagiarized. Ideas have a starting point, and those ideas turn into thoughts and inspirations. Everything's a giant loop, and they're basically all linked together. Being inspired does lead to a form of copying in a way. Of course, with good intentions, it's like, oh, I really like this drawing, so I'm going to try to mimic how they drew the eyes or how they drew the trees, but have my own type of little flair on it. Then there's that type of copying, like AI art. Dude, I could literally go off for like days and days and weeks and years about AI art. It fucking pisses me off, bro. AI uses artists like work and then goes off it and makes its own little fucking slop by blending everything together. Like, fuck off. I fucking... Anyways, your ideas. You will be the founder of your idea, in a way. Number 26. Any topic can be easily turned into something totally unrelated. Like in Rule 25 and Rule 13, this like really fits snugly in. People always drift from the original point. They drift from that point and then they misinterpret that point, and then it's just like a whole big snowball down. People don't know how it started, where it started, why it started. They just start making their own points and make it relate to whatever their point is. The topic changed, the goalpost changed. We don't know what the fuck's happening anymore, because the original idea is no longer there. No one knows where it is. 32. You must have pictures to prove your statement. Now this one's shorter. It's not as important as the other ones in my opinion. A lot of the times, like on Twitter, people don't believe stuff unless you have like video or picture evidence. A lot of people don't really care for evidence, and I notice a lot of people just kind of take everything for face value. But the people who want evidence want like all of it. They want detailed documents and pictures and like, oh, when did this happen? What date did it happen? Can you show me a picture of whatever it was when it happened 5 minutes in, 10 minutes in, and what happened 5 minutes after, 10 minutes after? So you have to prove everything on the spot. Now we have the big rule. Basically the only rule anyone knows. Rule 34. If it exists, there's of it. Everyone knows this rule. This is way too close. Everyone does. Everyone knows the rule. Yeah, I have a feeling this is like the only rule of the internet people know. It's the most popular one. Probably the only thing is people didn't know the phrasing of it. Rule 35. If there isn't, there will be. This one is one people don't know. When I hear Rule 34, I can almost guarantee people never think of Rule 35 or even know what it is. Because as everything that exists will have there, people forget that, like, yeah, some things people just don't know about. Some people, they like keep that little part of themselves and think about it and like, oh, I like this one thing. The more people know about it, the more likely someone's gonna make of it. And like, that's guaranteed. If it exists, there will be and if there isn't any, there will be. It's a canon event or whatever. I love Spider-Man. Haven't watched that movie in a while. Hashtag loves Miles Morales or whatever. Black Power. It's February. New media is constantly going. I could probably guarantee there's like kind of a fork. Any household item, there's probably of it. Rule 36. There will always be more fucked up shit than what you just saw. Now, I notice a lot of people are like, this is the most fucked up shit I've ever seen. And honestly, they're right. That's probably the most shit they have ever seen. But it's probably not the worst stuff that they'll ever see or ever want to see or ever get to see. There will always be worse online, either on sites that you never want to be on or media that's forced upon you. And of course, people are desensitized to really terrible stuff. People are very desensitized to it. And since they see the horrible stuff, but they're desensitized, they're like, oh, it's not that bad. It is still horrible, is the thing. It's still a bad thing. It's still bad. Their reactions and thoughts about it are too muted. They're too detached. And I feel like that's a big thing, but with the everyday person. Oh, a vet who has to put down animals, they get slightly desensitized to putting down animals, and war veterans get used to like all the war stuff, but the average person is more likely, like it's becoming more likely for an average person to be desensitized to stuff, so that's upsetting. Please be cautious. Please be cautious, because there is a lot of fucked up shit. Now, the last of the rules. 38. No real limits apply to online. I'm paraphrasing, of course. Bad things exist online. People will find a way to post their fucked up shit. Also, the law is the law. There are repercussions to your actions. They will get you, but again, this is the internet. There's no rules. The messed up stuff is posted by messed up people. These messed up people will find a space to post that stuff. They will find the media, or they'll make the media, and they'll find a place to put it. Doesn't matter if it's illegal, or it's shamed by society, or it's just morally disgusting and wrong. People will find an area to post it. You can do whatever the internet allows you to. And it allows you to do a lot of stuff. I'm not sitting here going, these things, they're fine, they're okay, we're all different. It's different opinions and stuff. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying all of this as a thought piece. These are my thoughts on these situations, period. Like, that's it. There's nothing more, nothing less. It's just my thoughts. Now, my history with the internet and social media starts at Tumblr. Technically, my first social media was Instagram, but I was too young to have it. Plus, I deleted that account. The thing with social media, and especially with Tumblr, is it's very disconnected to the real world. So imagine me, who's 13, doesn't have real friends, and no social skills, is spending all my time on Tumblr and interacting with the people there. I'm not learning how to talk to people my age. I'm not learning how to talk. But I did find parts of Tumblr fun. I'd reblog stuff, which to me is a better version of retweeting. And I liked reading the silly text posts. Those were fun. And I got Tumblr humor, kinda, I don't know. Humor nowadays is all blending with each other. My humor is different from my friends who are in Gen Alpha. And let me tell you, their humor is a lot of brain rot. And I feel like an old man hearing the brain rot. Because what the fuck is happening over there? I don't know. I have no idea what's going on.
Damn, mommy. I just want a...
The biggest reason why people love Tumblr is because it's the fandom website. People just get on, talk about their favorite media, scream about it, post whatever art. Why am I speaking weird? But for someone who has been in fandom spaces for over a decade, I can confirm that it has changed, especially after 2020. A big thing in 2020 is that these people who never were in online spaces went in online spaces, because what else was there to do? They're in lockdown, like, you're just gonna go online. The issue is they never had the opportunity to fully express themselves and fully engage in their interests, mostly because there's a lot of judgment in the way things run. Oh, the way you dress, the way you speak, the type of things you do, like, all of it is up for judgment. And people who weren't online all the time didn't really have a safe space to really engage in the weird little interests and niches they were in. But another thing that was really common in 2020 was just entitlement, taking the moral high ground and like thinking you're better than people or trying to be morally the best, I guess. I noticed a lot of the new people in fandoms were upset with very basic fandom stuff. They're angry at shipping and headcanons and just general cringy things, which is the whole basis of being in a fandom. You're supposed to be weird. You're supposed to do weird, cringy. Being in a fandom is meant to be cringy, because you're being buck wild about the stuff you like. You're not supposed to be prim and proper, you know? It's literally just, you're a bunch of freaks in one area talking about the freak media you like. That's what a fandom is. You're just freaks / pause. So I think the people in 2020 were, in a way, scared of being weird, specifically in fandom spaces, but I also don't know why they were ultra sensitive and really focused on having the high ground, because after lockdown, majority of that stuff went away, and I genuinely don't know why. Also, fandom spaces change on whatever social media site you're on, you know? So Instagram and Twitter, they're like entry-level social medias, in my opinion. Tumblr is different from Instagram and Twitter. It's more in-depth with the fandom space. Now, TikTok is a whole freak / nag. I don't want to touch fandom spaces in TikTok. They scare me because all they do is spout misinformation and are just really weird. They're really weird, and I don't know how to describe it. It's just they feel severely removed from the source of media and from the actual fandom of that media. It's just, they're really I don't know. You're weird. I love editors on TikTok. Use hashtag FloJoUno for edits of me. The thing is, this is my year, 2025. I'ma blow up. Be one of the first. Trust. Trust. I'm in my 20s, and let me just tell you, there are fandoms older than me. Yeah, it's disheartening to hear so many people talk bad about fandoms, and like, I get it. It's a very interesting thing, and people usually have negative opinions on fandoms. I don't know, I'll always support fandoms. It's literally just people who enjoy the media and talk with other people. Of course there's gonna be weird people, like morally weird or way too gray for it to be normal, but it's fine. Since it's my video, I'd like to preface, I probably should have done this earlier, but I'd like to preface that like all my fandoms are Minecraft YouTube related, or people around that section, YouTubers and streamers, because that's all I care about for some reason. I don't watch movies or TV or anime or games where I can read fan fiction. Like, I don't really engage in other media besides YouTube and Twitch. In that sense, I'm chronically online. Do not get it, like, I am chronically online, and I know. I've always been in like YouTube and streamers space, and especially in 2020, I was in the Minecraft YouTube corner. And I still am in that corner, so I can gratefully say that the fans have mellowed out, at least on Tumblr. I keep seeing weird shit on Twitter, but that's Twitter. I don't fuck with them. I fuck with them more than TikTok, let me just say. In 2020, it felt like hell to be in the fandom. And of course, I know because a lot of new people weren't used to fandom behavior, weren't used to standing or whatever. Like, I understand why it was hell, but also it was genuinely awful. It was bad to interact with anyone. And I'm an SMP Live vet. I'm an SMP Live veteran. Like, it's not good. And if you don't know what SMP Live is, it's just a Minecraft server from 2019. It's not important, and it's no longer running, and it was interesting. Let's leave it at that. And let me just tell you, Minecraft stands. I wrote this down, so I'm gonna read it because you guys need to listen. Even if the majority of the internet used that person's username, if their real life name is public, it will be tagged onto the end. That's just how AO3 works. It's like that because Minecraft creators and characters are too mixed. Since actors in a show are simply just playing a character, Minecraft creators, even though they're playing a character of themselves, are still in a level of disconnect. They are playing themselves in a fictional light. They're still seen as a Minecraft creator in the end. These are the tags that are set. All the iterations link back to that one tag. You can tag it with the character's username, but the tag will always appear with the real life names behind it. It will never change. I just wanted to clear that up. Also, it's to keep tag wrangling easier for people. Which, by the way, on AO3, tag wrangling is done manually. It's like a whole system. Shout out to tag wranglers. I am terrified of what it would look like but I appreciate you nonetheless. Speaking of tags, on Tumblr, those are very important. If you're posting things that might trigger others, it's very beneficial if you put it in the tag. If you like to post bugs and the people who follow you don't want to see the bug, you use the tag bugs in the hashtag, and other people have special ones for directory and make it easier to find things on your blog. I noticed a lot of artists do it, where it's like, oh, this is where I draw, this is where I do my sketches, this is when I talk about whatever. And then some people have reblogs and say, oh, this is this one fandom, or this character from a fandom, and this one's a different character. That is another way people do it. Another thing is to tag correctly. There are people who don't tag correctly, of course. There's always someone who does it wrong. And it's like, I'm looking at this one media, and I'm searching for this one character. I'm looking for character X, and I search character X, and then I'm getting a bunch of posts, but none of these posts have character X in it. None of them have that character because they are part of the media, but they're not part of the general post. And I've noticed people do that a lot. Well, they're part of like this show, so like why not tag them? And it's like, they're not in the post, don't tag them. I have to mention shipping real quick because that also depends on tags. The types of fandoms I've been in, it usually seems like you tag the ship and it depends on the context, but most people just tag the ship name and leave it like that. Or maybe the media, it's like if you're watching a TV show, you put the ship and then the media and then all your other tags. But I notice a lot of people don't put the actual people. I was in the Stranger Things fandom, I can go off of that. So you have a ship, what's the popular one? Will and Mike. So you'll have Will and Mike as the ship name, and then you'll go Mike Wheeler, Will Byers. Even though they're part of the ship, people on the main tag won't necessarily want to see that. So that's always important. And I know I mentioned Minecraft YouTube. I know there are some creators from Minecraft YouTube on Tumblr, so I'd like to say do the same thing for them. Don't have a ship between two creators and be like, hey, I'm also gonna tag their usernames where they go and search for stuff. Like, don't do that. You can have them live on the site, but also be respectful. I'm sorry if this seems very rushed. My camera overheated multiple times, so I'm a little bit pissed. just a tiny bit. Now, the general consensus is this is social media. This is the internet. You make the space how you want the space to be. The sites you frequent, you kind of need to follow the etiquette and the rules. Be wary of that. At least the rules you can do easily. That's all I had today. I'm sorry if this wasn't as funny of a video. I'm really passionate about this. I hope a lot of my points were thorough. I wrote a giant Google Doc, but I suck at reciting information and reading off of it. This was a lot harder for me to record. Anyways, like and subscribe. I do have more ideas for these types of videos, so if you like the video, I'll know to keep doing this. Bye! Bye-bye!